Good morning. This is Tim Ealer. How you doing today? Uh, wow, I'm still kind of in a brain fog. I've been dealing with recovering from COVID this week. Uh, Getting better slowly, but anyway, happy Saturday, and I hope y'all have a good weekend. I thought y'all might like to see this. This is Kiko out on the Western Pacific, major hurricane moving to the west here. Pretty impressive, isn't it? It's like a 145-mile-an-hour hurricane, 140. A little less impressive than it was yet a few hours ago, but overall, um, going to have some impacts to Hawaii. Likely rip currents, high surf, potentially some tropical storm force winds, which we'll talk about shortly. Uh, After that, I'm going to review really quickly the tropical Atlantic. And I talked about yesterday how I wasn't that impressed with 91L, and it has come true that it's not looking likely that it's going to do much of anything right now. Do we have to keep an eye on it? Yes. But right now, I don't see much of a reason to get overly excited about it. And models have really backed off on really anything developing from that at all. So let's get started here. My fault. So this is Kiko. You can see from the model guidance here from National Hurricane Center, the center is forecast to move to the northeast of the Hawaiian Islands with a possibility of tropical storm force winds approaching the Hawaiian Islands as it moves to the northeast. Not likely to get any more than that. You can see the probabilities 50-knot winds and hurricane winds. With the arrival time of these winds, tropical storm force winds, earliest reasonable, most likely Tuesday, between Monday night and Tuesday, Hawaii Standard Time. Sorry, y'all. I'm struggling a little bit so far today. Just not feeling that great. No warnings or anything, but you can see how small the circulation is, right? Back to this again. The National Hurricane Center just wants to reiterate how the swells and rip currents on the coast that are facing where Kiko's coming from, uh, and there could be some impacts from rain and wind, like they talked about. So, as far as 91L goes, I'm going to briefly go over the model guidance associated with it. And as far as 91L goes, I'm going to briefly go over the model guidance associated with it and show you the latest satellite loop of it visible here. A little bit on the fly here. So last night it looked a little more impressive actually on the visible. It looked like there might have been a low level circulation in here somewhere. Frankly, first light images, really hard to tell if there's anything, although there is more convection firing up this morning. Proximity to drier air and environmental factors don't lead me to believe it's going to develop right now. So let's look. I mean, it doesn't look impressive at all. I'm not too excited about it. So this is the latest update from 91 Al. I don't think I've ever seen, at least in recent memory, such a quick downgrade in potential development over from 90% to 30% in less than 24 hours. So now 30% chance of development within the next um, 2 to 7 days. And based on the latest model guidance I'm seeing, and I'll show you next, I don't think it's likely to develop at all at this point. So I'll go over model guidance quickly, real next, and then we'll go over the overall tropical outlook. But quickly, the model guidance. This is super ensemble output. Uh, Probably center location with 150 kilometers. You can see this really drops off as you move out in time here. Um, as far as confidence of there even being a center here. So the darker colors don't even exist anymore. And model tracks are all over the place. Really, some of them don't even track it, right? And intensity, the ships is out to lunch on a lot of these systems. It thinks it's going to become a hurricane in a few days, which I think we all can see right now it's not going to be. And this is the forecast pressure. You see how these models are all over the place. Just they're not tracking the system at all. And if you look at the one of the hurricane models we showed you yesterday, centered on this system, right? Doesn't even have it there. Maybe getting the depression status. You can see it doesn't really do anything with it. The European AI model has really been on track with this system, right? And it has a low out there, and then it's not doesn't even show it develop. Although later in the period, it has a couple disturbances out here that may want to develop. And the hats off to the European AI model. It wasn't excited about the AL91 at all, and I'm gonna keep utilizing this model more as I see it be more consistent if it stays doing that. So I'm going to talk more about the tropics, the future tropical outlook next. So here's a model representation of the potential for tropical storm depression development in the next 24 to 72 hours. There's this bullseye off here of South America, which you see quite a bit, but uh, not much of a chance here. And you see where 91L is right here, and off the coast of Africa, lower chances, and off the East Coast. Moving to 96 hours. That area here in the southern Caribbean Sea moves to the east, as well as 91Ls, whatever's left of it. 120 hours out, still off the East Coast, and then Gulf of Mexico. Not a lot of high chances in the MDR in the next 120 hours. Moving out 144 hours. This is valid on the 11th. Some higher chances in Eastern Pacific here. Again, off the East Coast, and some really low chances out here in the MDR, which possibility of higher probability of something developing out here off the coast of Africa on 144 hours, and then at 168, which is on the 12th, which is 7 days from now. Still off the coast of Africa in these different areas here, either lower gray shading and towards the blues is a low chance. Now getting up to 50% chance, staying that way, and then mostly in the Eastern Pacific and maybe in the Gulf of Mexico here over time, although low chance at this point. That's all for the tropics for today. There's not too much more to talk about, so I'm going to go over today's weather and the weather for the weekend in the continental U.S. All right, so this is the current national radar. So you can see where our frontal boundary is here, moving slowly to the south, southeast. But you can see a lot of rain ongoing into Tennessee, into the northeast corridor, up into Canada, into Texas, back into Mexico, and then desert southwest with some backside precip coming through, and along where the low pressure is up here in the Great Lakes region. If you go to the satellite, you can see that infrared long wave, right? You can see where the highest coulter cloud tops are and where the most precip is occurring is usually where the highest coulter cloud tops are. We have another boundary that's across into Florida here, which is been providing them with a lot of heavy rain lately. And so when we look at the rainfall outlook, we can see where the most precip's expected for today, along with the frontal boundaries up into the northeast, and along and to the east of the where the high pressure is building in, and we have our northwest flow aloft here, which is leading to drier conditions. Move to day 2. Precip pushes off the coast here. We have an upper level low off the western coast, northwest coast. Still more precip into Texas, into the front range of the Rockies, up into the high plains and the northern high plains, right? And the day 3, heavy rain expected off the just off the southeast coast into Florida, and looks like rainfall returning to the northwest and into the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes. As far as severe weather goes, today, no areas of severe weather expected except general thunderstorms of day 3. This is day 1. My apologies. Narrow quarter in the northeast today, with surrounded by marginal risk. The rest of general thunderstorms in these areas you see here. Tornado risk is 10%, 5% right here. Surrounded by marginal risk into the northeast. I'll have to look at that closer later. But that's quite significant this time of year. So we'll see what happens with that. Slight risk of winds exceeding 50 knots within 25 miles of a point, surrounded by a marginal risk here, 5% wind risk. Hail along the outer quarter here along the spine of the Appalachians up into the northeast and mid-Atlantic. For tomorrow, general thunderstorms, like we talked about in day 3. The cold front pushes off the coast, and we have general thunderstorm risk. Excuse me for my clear my throat, but anyway, I apologize, but do the best I can here. Uh, Next, I'm going to go over the rainfall amounts that are expected. Although we kind of just looked at that, um, and the general pattern that's driving all this stuff. So on to the next thing here. This is the overall mid-level flow pattern over the United States. Currently, we have trying to get my pen here working again. Okay. Well, I can't draw on it, so oh well. Of a flow going on here over the northern U.S. And we move through time. We have the trough rotating through, right? If I can get this to move. Lifts out, and we have a general trough building back in on the east coast and on the west coast, and a high pressure, like a ridge building in the middle part of the country. See right here, right? Trough over the east coast, trough over the west coast, omega block pattern. Although it's a little bit progressive, and that high pressure, you can see the flow coming all the way up here in the northern tier, right? Um, which will bring some hot weather to that area. Trough shifts to the north, and the one over the northeast U.S. shifts to the east. General troughiness in the middle part of the country and along the west coast, and maybe a ridge of high pressure building into the east coast briefly. My cat just jumped up on my chair. And moving over time, it gets a little more chaotic here. These are the height contours associated with the different with the 500 millibars. This gives a better look at the deeper oranges, and well, deeper oranges are um, well, down to the greens. Lower heights equals colder air. Higher heights equals warmer air. And the higher heights, the higher numbers, of course, are you get up into whatever that color is there. You go from orange, okay, up to these other colors that are darker again, kind of the grayish, and then to the I don't even know what colors those are. Anyway, you get the greens, and if you get into the blues, so that's really cooler temperatures aloft. You get to warmer temperatures aloft, you go up, but the number gets higher here. So over time, let's see how this model goes, right? My cat's bothering me right now. And this kind of really shows what I was just showing you a minute ago, where the high pressure builds in, the central part of the country here, low pressure here. You can see where the flow is coming from here, right? You have this flow here like this, and flow, the jet streams way up north here. High pressure. Like, this is a better representation of the flow, to be honest with you. Upper looks like an upper level low, mid-level low building here over the west coast. And that's the end of the run, right? So overall, the amplified pattern the really amplified pattern we have over the east is gonna lift out. We're gonna have some, some general troughiness over the east and the west, with high pressure building into the um, middle part of the country, which is going to bring hot temperatures again there. This is a good representation of the temperature anomalies at the lower levels, where you see the deeper magenta colors, blues, greens, different blue colors. That's below normal. And of course, up here, the dark browns and getting higher than that are the above normal. And we have above normal over the southeast. Let's move it through time here. The anomalies shift to the east, as we showed in the 500 millibar heights. You see where the 850 millibar heights um, increase here up in the northern tier into Canada off the west coast and into Canada. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm struggling today, doing the best I can with this. Not feeling the greatest. Um, so that's where the hottest temperature is going to be. Really, when we move through time, you have some cooler than normal temps and 850 millibar heights in the west, and really warm temperatures aloft, 850 millibars, which is, I'd say, about a mile up or so. And you move through time here, those hot temps stay in the northern tier, in the Midwest, in the high plains. Maybe some cooler than normal temps in the 850 millibar range. Desert Southwest, probably due to monsoon moisture, keeping temps down. And this shifts eastward, but in the southeast, we stay pretty much average towards the end. You see where the heights move here. So, how does that equate to temperatures on the surface? This is an anomaly at the surface, right? So the deeper, you can see the numbers here. The deeper greens, it equals below normal. Orange is above normal, and the rest you can see what the numbers are. Let's move it through time. Shifts to the east. You see where the hottest temps are above normal. Canada is really getting lashed with hot temperatures, especially in the Midwest as well, and into the Northeast. For the Deep South, we're looking out, at least right now, with temperatures not being that hot for this time of year. Looks like another front might be pushing through at the end of the period. But again, you can see where the temps above and below normal are, right? Build to the east, into Canada, Midwest, and shifts off into the Northeast and stays in the Midwest. Total precip, we kind of talked about that before. I'm going to go with this. This is for long term, right? So you see where the deeper oranges are is where the most precip, mostly offshore and into Florida, and into the upper Midwest and the northern high plains. And the desert Southwest with monsoon, you might have a tropical system bringing moisture back up into the desert Southwest in the long term, and some enhanced moisture in the southeast. That's it for today, guys. I hope you found this informative, and hopefully tomorrow I'll feel better. We can do a better forecast than I did today. Have a great day, guys.